Hello YouTube, Trug here. Tonight I want to talk about the differences between schizoaffective disorder and bipolar disorder with psychotic features, and also a little bit about the difference between schizoaffective and schizophrenia itself. For starters, as I mentioned in my past video, schizoaffective disorder is both a thought disorder and a mood disorder. Bipolar being the mood disorder, schizo being the thought disorder. And the major differences are, if you have bipolar disorder, can cause hallucinations, delusions, paranoia, the same basic symptoms that you'll get from schizophrenia and schizoaffective disorder. But the key is you'll get these during mood swings or mood cycles. You know, you'll be manic and hallucinating, or depressed and delusional about guilt and things like that. Schizoaffective disorder, you have these hallucinations and delusions and positive schizo symptoms when you're not having a mood cycle. When your mood is stable and normal, you still have these hallucinations and delusions and whatever else comes along with the schizo package. I forget the exact time period that this is supposed to occur over for it to be considered schizoaffective disorder. I think it might be over a 6-month time frame or a 6-week time frame. I'm not sure. You can look up the NIMH website or the DSM online and find out the exact time frames. But it is, again, as I said, it's thought issues minus the mood issues. The schizoaffective thought and mood issues concurrently is bipolar disorder. Sometimes they can be very hard to tell apart. People are often misdiagnosed. Most people with schizoaffective disorder are initially diagnosed with bipolar disorder with psychotic whatever tendencies or whatever you want to call it, psychotic features, and then after time, when they have symptoms and episodes when they're not having mood disorders, then they get re-diagnosed to the proper diagnosis of schizoaffective disorder. With schizophrenia, you have the positive symptoms being hallucinations, delusions, paranoia, things like that, without any mood episodes or anything else. But you've also never had any mood episodes or anything else. You have schizophrenia. You have just the disorganized thoughts, delusions, hallucinations, everything else. But you have no mood disorder to coincide with that. Your moods are pretty stable. You don't swing high to low, manic to depressive, or manic or depressive, depending on what type of bipolar you have, or bipolar symptoms you have. Those are really the biggest differences. I know myself, I was lucky. I actually diagnosed with schizoaffective right off the bat by my psychiatrist. The second visit I saw him, he gave me the diagnosis because again, I had a history of depression and not really mania, but I took a lot of drugs. I did a lot of drinking. So I myself always attributed it to that, and so did a lot of the people around me. Unfortunately, a lot of times people thought that I was drinking and doing drugs when I actually wasn't, because I had a mental illness. So I came across as pretty far out there, and, a lot of people just, my parents in particular, pass it off as drug abuse and drug use and everything else, and he's just a bad seed and whatever else, instead of they turn their backs on me instead of helping me and trying to get me help. I probably, when I was in my early teens, I should have been taken to a psychiatrist. I already started to show signs that I wasn't all there, but nobody ever took the time and or had the concern to do that. I think it's a big thing, is the stigma that goes along with it. My parents still to this day have a lot of denial about my mental illness. They refuse to learn about it or study it, or even, we were talking last night about My mom said I should really make my mother and my father my medical proxies. And, I don't know if I feel comfortable doing that because they don't know what's wrong with me. How can they make decisions on my health if I'm unable to make those decisions when they don't know what the problems that exist are? I think I would feel more comfortable making my brother my proxy because I know my brother, at least he's like me. If he doesn't know something, he finds it out. And he does his research on things. He's not quite as OCD about it as I am, but he will look things up. He does, in the past when I've had issues and problems and stuff like that, he's come back to me with information on it, and he's like, is this what it is? Is that what it is? Which makes me feel better. It's like, just this afternoon, me and my father kind of got into it a little bit because I have a bad habit. I'm very disorganized with mail. Mail comes, I don't open it, I just throw it away. And, I have doctor bills that pile up and stuff like that, and I usually just wait for them to call and pay them over the phone with either check my phone or debit card or credit card. And to me, it's just easier. Like I said, that's a hang-up I have is I can't deal with mail. I'm not organized enough to deal with that and handle it. And, this afternoon somebody called. My father yells at me. He's like, you got all this fucking money, freaking money, and you don't pay your bills. He's like, what's your problem? And I'm like, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. And, if he would do some research into the disease that I have, the illnesses that I have, he would realize that disorganization, the difficulty doing just standard things, standard run-of-the-mill everyday things is, it's a part of the sickness. What's easy, what normal people see as, easy everyday things, to me it's very difficult. Simple things, like a lot of schizophrenic people, schizoaffective people have terrible difficulties with hygiene. For some reason we find it very hard to bathe and take care of ourselves. It's just one of those things that are, it's kind of embarrassing to say. Fortunately, I don't. I manage to get showered and cleaned up every day. I'm usually not clean shaven, but, that's just a choice I made. I've always kind of worn a beard, and I'll let it grow for a month or two and shave it off and let it grow again. Same with my hair. And, so those are the biggest differences, between the bipolar with psychotic features and schizoaffective is, the appearance of hallucinations and other positive or negative schizo symptoms without a change in mood or a swing in mood. And that's usually, fortunately, for the most part, they're treated the same way. So if you do get falsely diagnosed with bipolar, usually what you'll get put on is an AP and a mood stabilizer. And depending on whether you're manic or depressive, possibly a antidepressant. And usually when you have schizoaffective, you're put on the priorities are kind of switched. With bipolar, the priority is kind of the mood stabilization, and then the AP comes second, and it'll be a smaller dose. With schizoaffective, at least from what I've noticed, and what my doctor seems to have done for me, is the AP, the antipsychotic, takes precedent over the mood stabilizer because you're taking a larger dose of the antipsychotic, especially Seroquel, which will in turn act as a mood stabilizer. It will stabilize your mood. And for me, it has pretty much, like I said, I still get hypomanic quite often. At least for like the last 6 months, I've been on a run where, I've been pretty much, not all the time, but I've been hypomanic a good bit of the time, and, it hasn't really been that much of a problem. Sometimes I get a little bit reckless. I spend a little money, buy some stuff I don't necessarily need, but fortunately I have plenty of money, so it's not like I'm going to, I'm spending money I don't have. And my sleep patterns are another big thing, is that I don't sleep very. When I get on these runs, I don't sleep. I'll stay awake 2-3 days at a time, which especially when you have a thought disorder, it just exacerbates things because your brain needs sleep. And every 24 hours, your brain needs sleep in that 24-hour time period to function properly. And when it doesn't get it, it starts to play tricks on you. And so then you get your your mind playing tricks on you from lack of sleep deprivation, and it also tends to kind of step up the schizo part of the disease, so you just get to be, you get kind of all screwed up. Fortunately, I don't really get that bad off. I can go 2 days without sleep, and it doesn't really affect me as long as I take my medication. And then I'll go to sleep. I don't pass out for a whole day afterwards. I'll go to sleep for 6-7 hours, and then that's it. Then I'm up, and I can do it again. But anyway, enough rambling. If you have any more questions about the difference between schizoaffective disorder and other mental illnesses, please feel free to post in the comments. Keep the comments constructive if you would. Please, if you like what you saw, like my videos, like and subscribe. Hopefully I'll be pretty active on this channel. There's a lot of stuff I want to talk about and get out there about mental illness and advocate for people that do suffer from mental illness. And I think that's going to be it for now. Thanks for watching. Talk to y'all soon. Shrug out.